Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into an absolute masterclass on risk-based internal auditing, or RBIA, sourced directly from instructor Sama Heracli. We're going to unpack this crucial methodology together and see exactly how modern auditing completely transforms from, just a rigid checklist into a massive strategic advantage for any company. All right, let's jump right into the core of it.
So here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, foundations of risk-based auditing. 2, the step-by-step process. 3, an example, the purchase process. 4, benefits and the auditor's role. And finally, number 5, challenges and key takeaways. It's a packed agenda, so let's keep moving.
Okay, looking at the master infographic here, the core philosophy is actually really simple. Listen to this. Risk-based internal audit is an approach that focuses audit efforts on areas of highest risk to the organization. It ensures efficient use of resources and adds greater value to the organization. This is literally our North Star. We're focusing all our efforts on those massive high-risk areas to make sure we don't waste time, which ultimately adds the maximum amount of value.
Chapter 1. Foundations of Risk-Based Auditing. Let's lay down the definitions and see exactly how this methodology is built from the ground up. Heading number 1, what is RBIA? Well, at its core, it's a methodology for planning and performing an internal audit based on the risk profile of the organization. It actively helps auditors focus on areas where risks are higher and the impact is greater. Imagine you're comparing a minor procedural risk, say an employee forgetting to sign out a $10 office supply, against a major financial compliance risk, like a massive flaw in how million-dollar vendor contracts are approved. RBIA ensures you aren't wasting weeks auditing sticky notes when a huge financial compliance risk is sitting right next door. You go where the impact is greater. Moving to heading 2, objectives of RBIA. The goals here are crystal clear. You want to focus on high-risk areas, optimize audit resources, improve governance, risk management, and internal controls, enhance organizational value, and ultimately support the achievement of organizational objectives. Honestly, the real secret sauce here is that second one, optimizing audit resources. Practically speaking, you and your audit team only have so many hours in a year, right? Optimizing means completely shifting your focus away from those low-impact areas. By aligning your hours with the company's biggest threats, you're actively protecting and supporting its ultimate goals. To pull this off, auditors rely on heading 3, key principles. These are: understand the organization and its context, identify and assess risks, focus on significant risks, align the audit with organizational goals, and continuously adjust based on changes in risk. Actually, I want to pause on that last one because it is absolutely crucial. Continuously adjust based on changes in risk. Think about it. Imagine your audit plan is totally locked in for the year, but suddenly there's a massive global economic downturn, or maybe a sweeping new data privacy regulation gets passed overnight. You don't just blindly stick to your old plan. No way. You have to adapt immediately, pivoting that plan to address those new, urgent threats. Section 2, the step-by-step process. Now that we've got our foundation firmly in place, let's step right into the core methodology. This is where we bring the theory to life. All right, heading 4, RBIA process step by step. Let's look at steps 1 through 5. Step 1, understand the organization, its objectives, strategies, industry, and external environment. Step 2, identify the risks that might prevent the achievement of those objectives. Step 3, assess those risks based on likelihood and impact to determine the actual risk level. Step 4, prioritize them, ranking risks to focus heavily on the highest ones. And Step 5, develop a risk-based audit plan and allocate resources. Let's think about Step 3, assessing risks, for just a second. You might evaluate a cyber attack risk using a matrix. If the likelihood is high and the financial impact is totally devastating, well, it lands firmly in the red zone. But if it's just a minor website typo, the impact is low, landing safely in the green zone. This assessment step tells you exactly where you need to focus. Still under heading 4, let's hit the back half. Step 6, perform the audit procedures focused squarely on those high-risk areas. Step 7, report the results, communicating findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Step 8, follow up to ensure corrective actions are implemented effectively. And finally, Step 9, reassess risks by continuously monitoring changes and updating the audit plan. I really want to highlight Step 8 there. Following up doesn't just mean sending a polite email asking if things are fixed. No. It means if you found a gaping hole in IT security, you physically or digitally return 3 months later to ensure the corrective firewall actions were actually put into place, not just talked about in a quick Zoom meeting. Now look at this crucial note. RBIA is a continuous cycle that ensures audit remains relevant and value-adding. I literally cannot stress this enough, guys. This is not some straight line where you finish the checklist, dust off your hands, and go home. By looping from step 9 right back around to step 1, this cyclical nature stops your audit process from ever becoming obsolete. The world changes, the risks change, and so your audit absolutely has to change right alongside it. Section 3, example, the purchase process. Let's make all of this incredibly concrete by applying it to a real-world, everyday business function.
Okay, heading 5, example, purchase process. Look at how the audit focus shifts completely based on the risk level. Let's go through it. Step 1, vendor selection. The risk is vendor collusion, and the risk level is high. So the audit focus? Review vendor selection process. Step 2, purchase requisition. The risk is unauthorized PO. The risk level is medium. The audit focus? Test approval controls. Step 3, receiving goods. The risk is short supply. Risk level is low. Audit focus is sample testing of GRN or goods receipt notes. Step 4, invoice processing. Risk is fake invoices, and the risk level is high. The audit focus? Test three-way matching. Finally, step 5, payment. Risk is duplicate payment. Risk level is medium. Audit focus, review payment system controls. Notice that for the high-risk areas, like vendor collusion or fake invoices, we do deep, rigorous dives. But for medium or low risks, we can scale back. Our resources are dictated entirely by the risk level, so we never over-audit a minor issue or under-audit a massive one.
Moving to Section 4, benefits and the auditor's role. Let's shift our focus to the actual outcomes of this process and what it means for your day-to-day responsibilities. Heading 6, benefits of RBIA. Why go through all this effort? Well, here they are. Better use of audit resources. Focus on what matters most. Improved risk management and controls. Enhanced overall governance and decision-making, and increased stakeholder confidence. That last point, that is incredibly powerful. When management and the board see that you're targeting the real existential threats to the business, rather than just ticking boxes, you build immense trust. And honestly, increasing that stakeholder confidence might just be the exact leverage you need to secure a much larger budget or get that advanced software for your audit department next year.
Heading 7, role of internal auditor. Under this framework, your job description shifts significantly. You need to understand the business and its risks, evaluate the risk management process, prioritize and plan audits based on risk, perform audits to provide assurance, and advise on risk mitigation and controls. You aren't just a compliance checker anymore, okay? You are a strategic advisor, actively safeguarding the company's future.
And that brings us to Section 5, challenges and key takeaways. We've reached the final chapter of our explainer today. Let's do a quick reality check on the hurdles you'll face and summarize the core message. Heading 8, challenges. Of course, this approach isn't always perfectly smooth. You're going to deal with incomplete or unreliable risk information, rapid changes in the business environment, limited resources and skills, and management may have different risk views. That last one is a biggie. For example, a sales director might heavily minimize a risk regarding aggressive revenue recognition simply because they really want to hit their end-of-year bonus. Meanwhile, you, the auditor, see it as a critical financial reporting risk. Navigating and aligning those clashing risk views is just a huge part of the day-to-day challenge. Okay, heading 9, key takeaway. If you take away just one thing from this explainer today, it's this exact quote. RBIA ensures the right audit at the right time on the right areas. It helps internal auditors focus on significant risks and deliver greater value to the organization. Let me say that again, because it's that important. The right audit at the right time on the right areas. Ultimately, the mantra for any successful modern auditor should be focus on risk, create value, strengthen organization. It perfectly encapsulates that strategic shift from simple compliance to true organizational defense. So, I want to leave you with this provocative question to ponder. Does your organization currently audit based on tradition? Just doing what was done last year? Or are you auditing based on true risk? Take a minute to think deeply about your own organization's practices. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of The Explainer. If breaking down this masterclass added value to your day, take these insights and go strengthen your organization. I'll see you in the next one.